got two very special guests with me. One is in San Diego, and another Christian. I forgot. Christian's in San Diego. Jack is.
Jack's in San Diego. Christian's in Las Vegas.
Okay, I got you all mixed up there. Guys, I'm so happy to have you on the show. What you are doing, I think, is just incredible. I was telling you off air here before we started that I spent I got up at 2 a.m. today before this interview. I've spent about 6 or 7 hours getting to know about your organization and what you're doing. And I couldn't be more impressed with both of you and the entire organization. So let's start out. We're going to be talking about folds of honor, and then your chapter, which is 13 folds.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about, before we get into the organization and what the mission statement is, what you're trying to accomplish for veterans and families of veterans. Let's talk about you. I want to get to know you a little bit. So again, I am so impressed. I don't know many young men your age who are so driven, so empathetic, so caring about other people and the American veterans, and the men and women and the people that are on the front lines, not only in first responders, but also in the military and in our great military. I watched videos. One of the reasons I was up and watching, spending so much time, is I started watching the videos on folds of honor, and they are really well produced. I encourage everybody listening, really well produced 2-minute videos, and their personal stories from some of the families that have been positively affected by what you guys and your organization does for the families. It was overwhelming. I mean, I was choked up.
Yeah.
Some really, really great stories. And you're going to tell us now why you got involved, the stories that you've experienced as you've worked with these families and these veterans. So let's get to know you. Jack, let's start with you.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us what folds of honor is in your own words, and then how you got involved.
Yeah. So before I get into that, I just want to say thank you so much, Jeremiah, for getting us on the show. We really appreciate it. And we love what you do. So in essence, Folds of Honor as a national organization provides educational scholarships and financial needs to families, child, spouses, surviving dependents of military members, whether they've fallen in in combat or have been discharged. And we also provide these scholarships to first responders. And I got involved because of my best friend right here, Christian. We met in high school, and I'll tell you, he's one of the most hardworking, empathetic, you said it, caring, and just an overall speaks volume of what it means to be a man and put others before himself. And his story is just absolutely captivating. I'm sure we'll get to that later. That's just part of the reason why I decided to volunteer for their organization. We're not a certified chapter yet. We're in the process of it. And that's why we're hosting all these tournaments and raising money and awareness for these families, for our parent organization, Folds of Honor. And what I want to do, what I want, others to see is that, it doesn't take much it doesn't take a lot of effort. It doesn't take a lot of time. As long as you got the heart, you can really make a difference. And I believe Christian is definitely a prime example of that as well. So I'll hand it off to Christian.
Christian, what age, what grade were you when you met Jack in high school?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for saying all those nice things. But I met Jack in, what was it, freshman year of high school, I want to say, maybe sophomore year. We were in an organization together, an extracurricular activity called Youth in Government, which is a model legislature program outside of high school. So we actually went to rival high schools, and they are both all boys Catholic high schools. So we didn't go to high school together, but we knew each other in high school. And then we led on to go to college together, where we were in the same fraternity. We had a lot of same classes, and it's just been, a best friendship for as long as I can remember, since sophomore or freshman year. So with my involvement with Folds of Honor, actually kind of when I was introduced to Jack, that's when around the same time my dad passed away, actually. So I didn't know Folds of Honor going into my friendship with Jack. And it wasn't until 2016, which was my junior year of high school, around my junior years, end of sophomore year, and my dad passed away. So during this time, we were preparing to go to college. We're looking at different colleges, and when he passed away, it was kind of a random event. So that idea of college was put on pause. And now I was in a position where I'm sitting with my mom, and we're writing essays telling the story, reaching out for any financial aid that we could get in preparation for college the very next year. So I sat with her for weeks on end, and for a couple of weeks actually, just telling my story with my father and who he was. And I'll get to that in a second. And upon this time, Folds of Honor reached out to me, and they said, not only do we want to fund essentially your entire collegiate career, but we also want to give you a job. And we want you to travel the country speaking at our different, fundraising events, which are primarily golf tournaments around the country, and tell that exact story. So what I wrote word for word is exactly the story that I tell, that I've been telling for the last 4 years. And it's a 5-minute speech that I've dialed in about a moment in time of my father, or it's a moment in time at my father's funeral that I'm up there speaking in front of hundreds of his, military troops and families. And my time knowing my father, he was a very angry person. So he served 30 years in the Air Force, and upon his retirement, he was diagnosed with severe post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury. He lived with shrapnel in his hip from a suicide bomber in Iraq, and he was nearly struck by lightning while overseas. So
he was in pain. He was in a lot of pain, not only physically but mentally.
Yeah, everyday pain, and because of this, he struggled. Every single day was a struggle. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and it showed. And every day we saw that. So I never had growing up, I never had a good relationship with my father, and it wasn't until my experience at his funeral where I realized that those people they knew a different man that I knew. And I knew the man of after 30 years of service, and they knew, a man who was their leader and their savior and their mentor, and,
had their respect.
Exactly. And so my story is that moment of realization. And it's through these Folds of Honor speeches that I've been able to forgive my father, for everything that he's done to our family. And, now Folds of Honor has given me a platform to share this story and to help other veterans, who may be struggling with the same things that my father have been going through, and potentially stop, the experiences that I have had within the household because of PTSD and traumatic brain injury. So it's very therapeutic to be a speaker for Folds of Honor, and I'm very lucky to be on their bureau and amongst 28 other individuals that are just like me with amazing, compelling, horribly tragic stories. But it's truly an honor.
Why was your father so angry, do you think?
I mean, I always say put a man in war for 30 years, 7 tours to Iraq and Afghanistan in Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom. And, for those of you who know war history, that those wars are, not fun wars. So coming back from that, I saw a result of that.
So what he went and fought for us, for all of us, for you to be here, for me to be here. And put in words. Maybe he believed it, maybe he didn't. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But he was put on 30 years is a long time, and seeing the worst of humanity, and then coming home, and what he probably thought of when he went into service was, just the all the great things about sacrifice like that he had, and that it's hopeful, that it's helpful, that he's putting himself out there. It's a sacrifice of his life for all of us. And then to come home, it's probably a hard thing to do, and a family, and the life isn't the way you wanted it to be. But what I love about your story, Christian, is that you took that, you forgave him, which is probably a huge weight off your shoulders, carrying that burden around. That hate is just toxic. But you're doing kind of a mirror of your father. You're now on the other side, welcoming home those people and giving them options, and giving them the hope that he wasn't able to find, maybe. That's amazing.
I've actually experienced recently. I went to an event, I want to say maybe this past September, and I tell my story, and like I said, it's just a brief 5-minute story, and by the end of it, I wrap it up, and I kind of tell how Folds of Honor has helped me. And I try to, the room is very heavy at the end, and as I'm finishing up my story, I walk off stage, and I see a grown man breaking down crying. And he comes up to me afterwards, and he says, "I just want to let you know that your story made me consider the fact that I could be that dad to my kids." And he was a veteran. He was a disabled veteran. And he said, "Wow. You have made me realize that I could possibly be that dad, and I'm going to go home now and treat my kids differently because of you."
That's incredible.
And in that moment, I realized, this is why I do this. These are the reasons why I'm doing this. This is why, God has a plan for me, and this is exactly how things were supposed to play out. And, I'm leaving my dad's legacy. I'm creating a legacy for him that he may not have had otherwise. And it's amazing. And, spreading awareness for Folds of Honor is exactly what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing.
That's what's truly commendable about everything that Folds of Honor does. I remember Christian first telling me about that experience, and I mean, hearing it again, I have the same reaction, just complete chills throughout my body. And the biggest takeaway I think you can get, beside all the financial needs that Folds of Honor provides, is you're not alone in these these difficult times. It's something that's truly inspiring. There's a reason why that we're working here today and working so hard to make this happen for a lot of families.
I was talking to Melissa Yamaguchi yesterday. She's on Mariel Hemingway's podcast and radio show, Out Comes the Sun, and they were the whole goal of Out Comes the Sun, and Mariel's life and Melissa's life has been dedicated to searching out people that can help, like yourselves, for mental wellness. And Melissa said this to me yesterday, and it really kind of stuck with me. She said, we all just want to be heard. We want to be heard. And this is what I love about radio, is that your story now is going around the globe on the airwaves, on podcast. It will be shared. It'll be listened to for years, and it just builds. And you never know, one person, maybe you reach one person, you're probably going to reach hundreds, but one person goes, oh, they're on their edge and they don't know where to turn. And you've just given them hope by your story. And I just think that's so amazing. And I was thinking of that old Tell Tuesday song, "The Voices Carry." Voices carry. Your voice is carrying right now, and it's going to affect change and continue to affect change. But again, your story was sad and tragic, and you made it a inspirational story. I'm going to say it probably too many times, but I'm impressed by both of you. Jack, you've got way too much on your plate right now. I don't know how you do it all. I was going to read off a couple of things that you're doing and brag about you a little bit, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Jack probably doesn't remember this, but I met him through his, I'm going to embarrass you now. I met you through your mom one day, and you came running in. I think you had your skateboard, grabbed like a snack and ran back out. And it was like 10 years ago. So it's so neat to see you now in what you're doing. I just, I feel kind of proud. I got to meet you when you were back then. You're a volunteer as an account executive for 13 Folds, which we're talking about today, of honor, excuse me, which is, as we've said, a military nonprofit based in Las Vegas that provides educational scholarships to surviving dependents of fallen military members and first responders. You are also a digital product manager for a housing nonprofit called National Core, and it's based here in California. And if that wasn't enough, you are a freelance digital marketer and advocator of Web3 and NFT integration. Again, if you go through, I see volunteer, I see nonprofit, I see housing, I see where'd you get the heart? I mean, I know your mom's got a huge heart, personal friend of mine, but where did you get your, is it from your mom? Is it from your, what's your upbringing or
I'd have to
background
go,
there
yeah.
that you care so much about other people and you're helping and making a big difference in the world?
Well, yeah, thanks for asking that. And it's funny you mentioned, because it does come back to my mom. Like she's my hero, and no discredit to my dad, great guy too. And he's awesome. And I look up to him a lot. But over the years growing up, seeing how hard my mom worked, and the amount of projects that she would work on, maybe sometimes she needed to learn when to say no, but she couldn't. But that's just speaks to her character and who she is. So it comes from her, man. I like working on a lot of things at once. I have a little bit of an ADHD, and like it kind of, when I tack on these projects, it kind of, takes that itch away. But it's also funny you mentioned the time that when we first met. I don't really remember it, but
Yeah, I'm sure you don't.
that doesn't surprise me. I was always in the cul-de-sac, skating with my friends, and I was a little bit of a chubby kid, so I had to re-up on a snack every 30 minutes or so.
Well, it's cool to see what you're doing. And yeah, your mom has a huge heart. You got that from her, I'm sure. But Christian has a real, it sounds to me, and totally correct me if I'm misreading this, but you don't have to belong to Folds of Honor. You don't necessarily, or to help, you don't necessarily have to have a history with military or first responders and some sort of tragedy, do you? Because Jack, that's not your story, is it?
Exactly, no.
No. So where Christian has that, and he's a speaker and he has that personal story, what drew you to the cause? And aside from, friends and you have a big heart, and you've, you're a,
well, it kind of goes back to motherhood, right? So Christian's mom, I would also classify as a big hero of mine as well. She is right up to par with mine, and she, I mean, since the first time I met her, she's such a go, like, and how can I help you? Like, she is always asking, how can I help? How can I be of service? And she'll never stop believing. Obviously Christian's story, Christian's characteristics, there's a reason why we're best friends to this day, but his mom plays a huge part in that as well. She really has the ability to be able to inspire people and make you feel heard, like we talked about. So it comes from her, and unfortunately she's not here with us today. She's working, and she couldn't make the show. But she's a big reason as to why I'm so dedicated and devoted to making sure that this chapter thrives.
Let's honor both of the women that have inspired and raised such great sons.
100%.
I'll let you give your mom's name, Jack.
My mom is I'll give a little plug to her. My mom's name is Sheila Conlin. she owned her own casting company for a long time, and she's been lucky enough to kind of delve into her own creative outlet and work on her personal projects that she loves. About a year and a half ago, she came out with the show that was a docu-series that came out on Hulu called The Curse of Von Dutch. And yeah, I'm doing a little cross promoting right now, but that was her baby, right? And I'm sure you probably saw the show. She worked on it for
Well, I mean, your mom, yeah, the way I met her was through Kitchen Nightmares and Hell's Kitchen and all that,
yeah.
her involvement. But I just wanted to say her name. I mean, she'll get mad at me if we get into talking about her and not you guys. But
I can't help it.
Because I think it's so important for parents out there too, to like the dad that said, "I'm going home after he heard your story, Christian, and I'm going to treat my kids better." Now I didn't realize what I was doing. And so I think it's so important to mention those mentors. And that's why I just wanted to give them credit with their name. And Christian, your mom's name?
My mom's name is Pamela Kendall. And I've always said, behind every strong man is an even stronger woman. So Jack and I have two very instrumentally strong women in our lives, and we have to mention them. So
yeah. And I want to thank both of your mothers for, you guys are good guys, man. You're it's just such an inspiration to see and to listen and hear about. And we're going to talk more about what you're doing, what you need. You're taking on a big project, bringing, you're with your own chapter and organizing the events. But we got to take a break. But before we go to break, I wanted to ask Christian, you mentioned that you were angry and that this turned it around for you. Folds of Honor. What helped you exactly? Like if I've got the same situation and I'm listening right now, what lessons did you learn, or were you that popped and helped you go turn it around, and see it from your dad's perspective and from that being very mature there but what helped you? Like, what are some of the tools that Folds of Honor helped you with?
So just a few months after my father's passing, Folds of Honor had me traveling and speaking about it. So looking back, I never really took the time to have a personal grieving period, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And it was through these speeches, like I said, that I was really able to work through my emotions, and that my 5-minute speech that I share in the very beginning, I couldn't even get through the first minute without choking up and without getting overly emotional and not being able to get the point across. But a few years later, and I say years because it's actually taken years, I've now been able to perfect this story to the point where it's emotionally compelling, and it's spreading awareness for Folds of Honor, making sure that the cause is known, and this is why I'm here through my story, and it's effective now. And although it's a very emotionally heavy story, it's an effective story that is not only helping the organization and fundraising for educational scholarships, but it's also affecting these veterans, and it's also getting the word out to the people that need to hear it most, in my opinion. And I've always thought, if I could affect that one person, and that veteran is going to go home and treat his kids differently, and those kids are going to grow up and treat people around them differently, I'm now affecting a lifetime and a universe of people by just affecting that one person. So whenever I go to these events, and every single time, 4 years later, it never gets easier, I go on stage with all my nerves and I say, listen, this is why I'm here. I'm using my story and my voice to spread awareness. So yeah, it's through Folds of Honor and through this family. And Folds of Honor is a family that you don't want to be a part of, but you're ever so grateful to be a part of, because to be a part of this family means that you have to have lost someone close to you, or lost a loved one. And Folds of Honor has taken me in, and I'm a better person because I'm a part of Folds of Honor.
And all the people that you talk to are better people because of it as well. I love your story, Christian. I love it, and thank you for coming on and being brave enough to share it with us as well. It's a lot. I'm sure it takes a lot of courage, and it's so personal and raw. Do you ever go home and you're just exhausted after these even though it's a good experience, does it take it out of you?
Absolutely. I mean, just last week, I got home from a 3-day speakers training in Owasso, Oklahoma, which is the headquarters for Folds of Honor. So for 3 days, I sat amongst 28 other individuals with stories, very tragic, sad stories. And, I had to hear 28 versions of those. So coming back from that, it took a while to decompress. I've been emotionally vulnerable for the last few weeks. And yeah, I credit it to that. So.
Sweet. I love your guys' friendship too. Are you there for him, Jack? I know you probably are when he goes through this stuff.
All the time. And
it's a good friendship.
Yeah, we're actually roommates. It's me, him, and his girlfriend. And we're all good pals.
Great. Well, we're gonna take a break. I love getting to know you guys and what you represent and what you're trying to accomplish. And we want to help you as much as we can here. So we're going to get into that a little bit when we get back. Thank you to our veterans and our first responders. Folds of Honor's mission is to provide educational scholarships to the children and the spouses of America's fallen or disabled service members. There's an upcoming golf tournament. There's 2 of them, actually. The guys are going to talk about here. It's a fundraiser for Folds of Honor in Las Vegas at the Revere Golf Club on May 27th, 2023. Another upcoming golf tournament after that in November is for Folds of Honor as well, and it's in Las Vegas at Reflection Bay Golf Course, November 5th, 2023. You can get more information. You can sign up. You can donate or get tickets. Is that the right way to say it? To play?
I'd say register to play. Yeah.
Register to play. Okay. And the website, let me give it to you real quick. It's 13 folds, 13 FOLDS LV as in Las Vegas.org. The phone number 310-904-2855. Jack would love to hear from you. I'm going to give you his email. Hopefully you don't get too blown up here, Jack. Jack r.rothman@gmail.com. If you're a business interested in sponsoring the upcoming golf tournaments, reach out to Jack Rothman. I'm going to give it that one more time. Jack r.rothman, ROTHMAN @gmail.com. And his phone number is 310-904-2855. All right. Find these guys on their socials on LinkedIn at Jack Rothman, on Twitter for Jack, JWeb3 Rothman. And you can find Christian on Instagram at Christian Meza, M-E-Z-A, on LinkedIn as well. We'll be right back.
Good.
All right. So that's the first commercial break, right? You don't hear it right now, but all those things that I told you are on our master file in this spot here. So we'll come back. We'll got another break and then one more.
Perfect.
All right. You ready?
Good. Yeah, that was great.
You guys are great, man. That was great.
You're awesome. You're really good at moderating, dude. Yeah, you crush it.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. It was really nice of you to say. I love this. This is to me, this is to meet and tell these stories. It's amazing. It's like what you get out of it, Christian, when you're on your speaking tours. I love just that we get the airwaves to tell these stories. All right, we're coming back. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. Got 2 really special guests with me today. 2 great guys. They're starting a new chapter of Folds of Honor. Their chapter is 13 Folds of Honor. It's an incredible endeavor, and one of the best causes I could ever imagine being involved in. If you're a listener out there, and you should help these young guys. They're just such hard workers and great cause. They're helping veterans and first responders and their families. I love that part about it, that it's the family aspect, because that's really where you start with everything, and if we want to make this world a better place, which we try to do here on the show, we don't talk about anything negative. I don't want to hear anything negative. Go to another show for that. I want us to spread good, positive stories like these guys. It's Jack Rothman and Christian Meza. Am I saying the last name right? Meza?
Yeah, Meza.
Okay. Meza.
You got some spice on it, man.
Meza. You never know. Meza, I was trying to listen to how you said it. Good, strong names, good, strong guys. Fold of Honor's mission is to provide educational scholarships to children and the spouses of America's fallen or disabled service members. They've got some golf tournaments coming up that will help support the new chapter and Folds of Honor, and most importantly, the families of our veterans, of our first responders. God, look at both sides, veterans, military veterans, and first responders over the last 3 years. Those people that have represented America and gone out there for us and done such hard work, they deserve our thanks, our gratitude, and our help, you know? So welcome back, guys. All right, before we get into 13 Folds of Honor, your chapter, and what you guys are trying to accomplish right now, I want you to take a minute and tell us why you appreciate the other and what the other brings to the chapter and to Folds of Honor, as far as the two of you guys, leading this charge to get this up and going. Why, first of all, probably an obvious question for each of you. And then what does the other bring to the game? And how does the other person, your partner in this business, how do they motivate you and inspire you? Jack, you want to go first?
Yeah.
Tell me about Christian.
I'll take the lead.
And you can tell me if he annoys you too, since he's your roommate.
Sometimes, but we work past that. Well, for starters, I mean, Christian has endured a lot, and some emotional pain, some physical pain, and there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and he's found that, this specifically with Folds of Honor, and what they've done for him and his family. Him as a person, dude, there's a saying, surround yourself with like-minded people and they'll lift you up.
Yeah.
And Christian is one of those people that I never want to lose. I want him by my side all the time, just because he makes me a better person, right? Like I said before, he's an incredibly hardworking guy. He'll stop at nothing, to make sure he gets the job done, and to make sure his mom and his brother and his friends are taken care of. He's also incredibly compassionate, and it's very evident throughout his story and how he talks about how Folds of Honor has helped him. That compassion is real and authentic, and I feel in order to captivate an audience, you need to be authentic. You need to make sure that your name isn't the only thing that's heard. It's the story. And that reminds me of one of my favorite sayings of all time. It's Maya Angelou. She says, people will forget what you said, they'll forget about what you did, but they'll never forget about how they made you feel. And
that's one of my favorite quotes. I love that.
It's money, man. It's so good, and it gives me
the only
chills.
one you need. That's the only one you need.
Seriously. And Christian embodies that in its fullest form. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm advocating for 13 Folds, our chapter in Las Vegas. And I want to make sure him and his mom and his story are heard throughout the nation for years to come.
Great. Christian, tell us about your buddy Jack here.
That's probably the nicest things that anyone has ever said about me, to be honest. So, but about Jack, I literally have all the exact same things to say, to be honest. And I think back, and as we were exiting out of college, Jack stayed back for a little bit in Salt Lake City, and I moved back home to Las Vegas and was, pursuing an internship that I had out here. And Jack was wrapping up some stuff he had over there, and he, hit me up and he was like, "Hey, I want to move to Vegas. I want to come out. I love your drive. I love your passion. I love what you're doing, and I want to be a part of it." And, when I thought about that, I'm like, wow, like these are the people that you need to keep in your life, the people that are really there to support anything and everything you're doing, and are willing to acknowledge that and make, an effort to move your entire life out to a whole new state and a whole new city, and, where you don't know anyone besides me, and, just want to so hop on board with this cause. Like that's magical, and that's amazing to me. So, I saw that right away, and I saw that drive, and, it automatically just lit a fire under me even more. And, it kind of kicked me into fourth gear, and, made me say, okay, let's get these events planned. Let's get these golf tournaments, successful. Jack hopped on board and says, hey, I'm going to, try to reach out to sponsors. His mom is very instrumental in a lot of this as well. And, she's lining us up with, the right people, such as yourself, Jeremiah. So again, thanks for having us on here and allowing, us to talk about it and spread the word. But Jack as a person, he inspires me every day. He's the most enthusiastic and characteristic, has more characteristics out of anyone I know. So, he's a very interesting and awesome and fun, true, genuine person. So, I call him my best man. Because one day when that day comes that I'm going to get married, Jack will for sure be my best man. So he's more than a best friend. He's a best man.
Your brother, hopefully your brother doesn't listen to this.
Oh, he's not
your brother's out. Jack's in.
He knows that though. My brother knows that, but shout out to my little brother.
Christian, are you the oldest of the family? So in other words, when your father passed away, were you the man of the house instantly overnight? And
yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, I quickly realized that within a matter of 5 seconds of my mom telling me that my dad passed away. I'm like, okay, well, college is out the window. I'm going to start working, and, now I'm the man of the house, and I'm going to provide for my family, and it's just me and my little brother and my mom. So,
you mind if we dedicate this show to your father?
I would love that. I'd be honored. Thank you for that.
Say his name and so we've got it there. And
his name is William Nathan Kendall. He goes by Bill. His friends called him Wild Bill in the military. So yeah, shout out my dad. Thank you.
And he was Air Force. What was his final rank?
Yeah, Chief Master Sergeant in the Air Force. So he worked his way up to be the highest ranking he could without going to college. So he didn't want to leave the military. They kind of gave him a kick in the butt and said, "Hey, your time's up. Time to retire.
Go, Wild Bill."
Yep. see you, Wild Bill. So
let me ask this: friends of mine, my father was only in boot camp in a couple of years, but he never saw any action or whatever. All here in the United States, but I've had friends that have had fathers. I don't think any mothers that I know of that were in the military, and their life was very different than mine. It was very regimented. Having a father who's gone through all that and made that his career, they really they were tough on their kids, but their kids turned out really good. My friends, that had, as a father, I know you had your differences, and when you're a teenager and you're young, you probably push up against them a lot, like I even did with my own father. But the rules and the regulations and the things you've got to do, and you're rebelling and you want to be your own person. Were there a couple lessons that you'll take and pass on to your children, and that you remember that help you in your life now that you didn't appreciate back then?
So from like a fatherly figure standpoint, I've always, like I said, I never really had a good experience with my father. It is as far as I could remember. And I've always told myself that I'm going to be the dad that I wish I had. And so the lessons that I've learned have almost been like the negative lessons that I've experienced in my life has transitioned to be beautiful learning lessons that I'm going to, one day teach my kids, or one day, teach the people around me, the veterans who have kids. And so in terms of like lessons, we live this big military. I come from a military lifestyle, and my dad always had these, military routines, like you said. So growing up, I always thought I wanted to go into the military, and I always thought that was going to be, follow my dad's footsteps and go into the military. But upon his death and growing up more, I realized that other than boots on the ground, this is how I'm serving my country. That the families of the military families also need support. Just like, we're supporting our veterans, these families need support. And that's where I'm going to serve. This is my sector of serving is for the families and for the children and for the spouses and for the beneficiaries. And growing up, I always thought, I wanted to serve on the other team, but it wasn't just, a few years ago that I realized, this is the way that I'm serving, and this is my purpose. This is my passion. This is God's plan for me.
Well, in case I forget to say it, I'm going to do it right now. Thank you both for what you're doing and what you are attempting to achieve, and what I have no doubt you will achieve and be so successful at. Thank you for that side of it, because we also need that side of it. And you talked about, your lessons you learned from your dad were the things that you didn't want to become. And I think that's just the way it is with every father, mother. The kid goes, I'm not going to be that way. So they do, but we advance. But it's one of the sad ironies, I think, in life, is that you look back and wish, God, I wish I would have, we had a different relationship, but it was the hardships taught me. But that's, like I said, one of those sad ironies of life, and it's just the way it is. Okay, so let's talk about what you guys are going to accomplish. I don't want to put it as you're trying to accomplish. You're going to accomplish this. You're already on your way. Folds of Honor. Who came up with the idea? Who founded it? Is there a founder, or did it just evolve?
So the founder is actually an amazing man. And I aspire to be everything that this man is. And his name is Dan Rooney. And he is a fighter pilot, F-16 fighter pilot in the Air Force. And the story of his idea of how Folds of Honor was even thought of is actually an amazingly beautiful story. And I don't want to spoil it, because I'd actually rather you watch it for yourself and get the full experience. But
where can we watch that story?
It's on foldsofhonor.org. And I'll kind of just give you the short version of it. But Dan Rooney, he was on a plane, and he was founded, if I can remember correctly, in 2009. He was on an airplane, and the pilot said, can everyone be seated? You saw this? I
saw it, yeah.
Okay.
I put it in, but I pulled it back out because it was 6 minutes. Now I wish I would have left it in. I didn't realize he was the founder, though, when I was watching it.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, he's an amazing man. And I mean, if it's 6 minutes, you can't have a 6 minute thing.
No, I mean, just because I wanted to give you guys all the time, and if we did 6 minutes, we'd run out of airtime. But I'll put it back in on the podcast. How about that?
Yeah, no worries. But the long story short version of that is that the pilot said, "Can everyone please be seated? We have a special veteran that we want to offboard the plane first." And he looked out the window, and he saw a casket with the draped American flag over it, and it was a disabled veteran that was being escorted off of the plane. And walking behind him, it almost makes me emotional. It gives me chills even saying it. But walking behind him was his son, and that's in that moment he realized, he's like, that's who I need to benefit. Yes, we're acknowledging the veteran, but look at his son, what about the family and what's going to happen after this? And and that's how the idea was created. So from that point on, Dan Rooney founded Folds of Honor in his garage, and it expanded to be an amazing headquarters in Owasso, Oklahoma, near Tulsa, for those who are familiar. And it's amazing. And they have a golf course, and they have beautiful establishments. They just built a brand new, gorgeous office building out there. They have cottages that, anyone can go and stay at any time. It's amazing.
Is golf part of the concept in some way?
Sorry, say that again?
Is golf part of the concept in some way? Because I know you guys are doing a couple tournaments. You just mentioned the golf course there. Is golf a part of the, somehow it fits into the big plan?
So Dan Rooney is also a PGA professional. He's also a professional golfer. So so that's how it kind of all got tied in. He's in the military. He's a professional golfer. He has, I want to say 5 daughters. So he's a dad of 5, and he's just an amazing man. Like please research Dan Rooney. He wrote a book called Flying into the Wind, and it's an amazing story. It tells about Folds of Honor, how it was founded, talks about his career and his background, and please read it. Flying into the Wind by Dan Rooney.
I would say, though, Jeremiah, to answer your question, golf is just a great opportunity to raise money and awareness. So these golf outings start, there, and a lot of veterans like to play, but in any way, shape, or form, the organization is not limited to golf as being a charitable outing. You know, we do things such as 5Ks, bowling tournaments, poker runs, anything that, you know, you can make raising money seem a little bit more fun.
You know what I think is genius about the golf aspect is that I worked on a golf course for 5 years, and it's the most beautiful. You know what, you see the changes of the day, the green and the smell of grass, and people out having a good time, and you're in the sunshine, breathing fresh air. I think it's genius in a way for the mental wellness aspect. Maybe not even, you don't have to put your finger on it, but you go out golfing or you go hang out with your friends on the golf course, or you're on a community event that you guys have organized, and you just feel better. You know, it's I think it's brilliant.
You know, I
a
never
lot of
really
it.
I never really thought about it that way, because I mean, I love to golf. We love to golf, and depending on how I played, I'm either the
Exactly. I was gonna
happiest
say,
man alive or
unless you're throwing your
frustrated.
clubs, and
Yeah.
if you golf like me, you actually go home angry. But while you're there, you have fun.
Yeah.
But
No, you're
you know,
right.
you
You're right.
can't help but enjoy yourself outside. Foldsofhonor.org. Go check it out. Christian mentioned a book. I'm really loving the videos. I'm going to go back and watch more of them and share them. I want to reach out to every person that made those videos. Some of them, give them your love. You know, they're putting their heart on the sleeve, and in 2 minutes, the families that are telling the story, their personal story in 2 minutes. I mean, you're in there. You know, there's some really great stories there. We need to support our military and our veterans and the people that go out for us, you know, and the first responders, the tough jobs. Those are tough, unrewarding jobs at the end of the day, you know. We need to put more attention to those people and thank them and support them. Okay, so let me take another quick break, and we'll come back and we're going to talk about 13 folds. Let's see here. 13 Folds of Honor. My special guest today, Jack Rothman, Christian Meza. We want to thank our veterans and our first responders, and these guys are here to do that. They're doing it. They're living it every day. We need more people like you, but we're so happy we have you. And thank you for what you're doing, and everybody at Folds of Honor and your new chapter, 13 Folds of Honor. Thank you, guys. There are a couple upcoming golf tournaments and fundraisers that I'd like to tell you about. One in Las Vegas at the Revere. Is it the Revere? Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Revere Golf Club. Okay. Golf course. That's November 5th. It's a little ways out. You got plenty of time to plan it. What else?
That one is actually May 27th.
Oh, it's coming up sooner.
The one at Revere Golf Club is May 27th, in Henderson, Nevada. That one's coming up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped a line here.
You're fine.
I'm sorry. Thanks for correcting me. May 27th, 2023, Revere Golf Club and Las Vegas. And, you know, in May, you're ready to get out of your house and go golf and go eat at some good restaurants in Vegas. Get out there. But you got to call Jack at his phone at 310-904-2855. Excuse me. Let me do it one more time. 310-904-2855. His email, jack.r.rothman@gmail.com. Rothman, Rothman. Or you can go to the website and sign up, get your spot there, go meet these great guys. You guys both gonna be there?
Yes, we will.
Both of these, great. So meet Jack, meet Christian, and the website 13 Folds, LV as in Las Vegas.org. All right. On Twitter, get Jack at JWeb3 Rothman and Christian on Instagram at Christian Meza. Still trying to do it that way. Meza. All right, guys, we'll be right back, and we're going to talk about 13 Folds of Honor. Be right back. All right. So this is the last. We've got probably, I'm not looking at my time here, but we're probably running up on an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure all of this gets on air. So I don't want to have to edit it all. So let's just talk about 13 Folds. Tell us what you're doing. I'll set you up. You ready to come back?
Yeah, and then towards the end, if you don't mind, can I talk about the details of the tournament?
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's
Okay.
leave them with that so they don't, the last thing they hear, they don't forget.
Okay.
And then we did the promos too. So those are going to be in, I'll put them up on YouTube and then you can share the hell out of them anywhere you want. You can share this. And
100%.
then when we get close, like within the week, you got remind me because I'll forget. So remind me and go, hey, will you re-air that?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sweet.
Here we
Ready to go.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. Two great guys here, Jack Rothman, Christian Meza. 13 Folds of Honor is their passion. I don't want to say a project, but it's a project. It's a daunting project task. I mean, you guys are creating a new chapter for Folds of Honor, which is their mission at Folds of Honor is to provide educational scholarships to the children and the spouses of America's fallen or disabled service members. So the guys are really, man, what are you like? What are some of the challenges? What do you need? Because the listeners are out there, we want to help you.
So yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Thank you, Jeremiah. With our upcoming tournaments, we do need some financial support. We need some awareness, and that starts with sponsorships and partnerships. And that could start with your local business. We're based in Las Vegas, and what we do is we'd set up signage, whole sponsorships. We promote your business on our social media platforms, and basically just create this widespread awareness. And it's a mutual benefit. Most of these sponsorships, matter of fact, all of these sponsorships, have a certain metric as to where your money goes, right? Let's say, for example, you're interested in a whole sponsorship valued at $5,000. That's 2 years of educational scholarship for a Folds of Honor recipient, or 2 semesters for a Folds of Honor recipient. So you
and
could,
just in case, Jack, I'm sorry to interrupt. Just in case somebody just tuned in here in their car or something, where you said that pays for 2 years of college, it's a scholarship for 2 years.
For the
recipient, and the recipients are what makes them so unique.
So yeah, our recipients are children, or teenagers, maybe even a spouse, a parent that wants to go back to school, to get a degree so that she can get a higher paying job. These are people that have been directly impacted by their spouse or a loved one that has fallen in active service, a military member, or a first responder. These are people that are in dire need of help, and financial support is a great means of getting there. So anything and everything helps, and it truly goes to a great cause and makes an incredible difference to these families.
Wow. It's such a great idea. It's such a great cause, guys. What are your goals for your chapter 13 Folds?
I'll let Christian take that.
Yeah. So
Folds of Honor, I'm sorry.
We are absolutely working towards becoming the Folds of Honor Nevada chapter. So I want to say there's now Folds of Honor Nevada chapter. The Nevada chapter would be the 34th or 33rd chapter nationally for Folds of Honor. So there's certain thresholds that we need to meet, and some of those thresholds are having events like these that we are planning in support of the organization, and we really want to show out. We have amazing representation with our Folds of Honor shirts, hats. We're going to have custom balls, custom tees at all these events. It's going to be deemed as the most patriotic round of golf you're ever going to play. And these are the events that we are, organizing. So it's all benefiting Folds of Honor. And, the end goal is we want to be the Folds of Honor Nevada chapter. And at that, we want to be the most successful chapter. So right now that is the North Texas chapter. And last year they did $5 million a year. in donations and in scholarships to Folds of Honor. So, you know, I have big visions and I have big dreams for where this chapter is going to go. And I know Jack does too. And, you know, we have great people around us and great supporters like you guys who are listening, who, you know, want to support our military and the families of our military and first responders. So you can donate directly at foldsofhonor.org to the national organization. But if you are in Las Vegas, we would love to see you on May 27th. Come and be a part of our tournament. And if you can't be there in May, then we'll catch you in November.
I love it. I love it. What about, there is not a better way to spend your time either working or volunteering or helping, going to these tournaments and these events that these guys are organizing. They're going to be there. You can meet them in person. And I just want to say this, you know, you guys got to come back anytime you want. You got to walk on past and anything you're promoting, we want to be behind and help you get the word out. We're going to come back and Jack's going to tell us about the tournament. We got one more break here and we'll be right back. All right. So you want to just kind of set you up, tell us about the tournament. You want to describe it more, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot more that I would need to explain. I guess
Anything special, like any big sponsors?
Yeah, I was gonna say I can mention some of our sponsors
guests,
so far.
You could mention the fact that our hole-in-one sponsor is Harley Davidson. We're doing a Folds of Honor Harley Davidson motorcycle.
Yeah, any of that stuff that's you know, just to get people excited to get over there and get out there. All right, and then we've only got a couple minutes, so you do that. You go as long as you need to go, Jack, and you know, talk about whatever you want to talk about there to get people enticed and get them to your website, get them signed up, sending you money, and then I'm just going to ask you, you know, if you want to thank anybody, and we'll say goodbye.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Do we get everything you want to get in there?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay, and like I said, come back. I mean, we can do part 2, part 3, part 4.
Love to.
Okay, and you can update them if you get some people. You know, I would love to help you get some celebrity people to play if that would help.
That'd be awesome.
Too cool.
Okay. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. Let me do that again. I got to give Richard a pause, otherwise he won't know where to find the breaks.
No worries.
I did it too fast. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. What a great hour. I'm inspired. I'm touched. We've heard some great stories. Jack Rothman, Christian Meza, 13 Folds of Honor. It's a division, or a chapter, I should say, a new chapter that they are building and need your help and need your support. And you want to do this. I mean, it's for Folds of Honor. Their mission is to provide educational scholarships to the children and the spouses of America's fallen and disabled service members. So there are a couple of events coming up in Las Vegas, and Jack's going to tell us a little bit about them.
Fantastic.
Highlights, Jack.
I will. So our upcoming tournament will be in May, specifically May 27th at Revere Golf Club in Henderson, Nevada. And part of what you'll see there entails a lot of cool and fun stuff, and all for a great cause. Like I said, these families, they need your help, and I'll tell you exactly how you can help. Some of the benefits that you'll see at these tournaments is one of our hole-in-one sponsors is Harley Davidson. If you're skilled enough to dunk that ball on a par 3, you might be coming home with a brand new Harley, and that's nothing short of amazing, in my opinion. I don't know how to ride a motorcycle, but if I do, I'm sure I'll donate it back to the cause.
Take it for a spin first, though, would you?
Oh yeah, I'd have to. I'd probably end up on the floor just crying.
I want to tell a funny story. Sorry to ruin your train of thought.
Go for it.
Harley Davidson. I want to thank Harley Davidson. They are always doing stuff like this, and American company. I just wanted to thank them on behalf of you, but also we have a Harley Davidson over in Maui. We've got a restaurant in Maui, Fleetwood's on Front Street, and on our menu we have a cheeseburger, and if it's $36,000, but you get a Harley with it, and they're numbered. So, but Harley does, and then they donate a lot of that to different, causes there in Maui. But it's kind of fun.
Crazy. Yeah.
So if you don't win this one, Jack, come on over. I'll buy you a burger.
That's a great marketing tactic. I'll be honest. I love that.
But cheese is an extra $1.
Oh, okay.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Harley
No,
Davidson.
you're
Thank,
okay.
thank you. That's a cool, so you have to hit a hole in one?
Yeah,
And-
so yeah, you'd have to hit a hole in one. Um, there's really no other strings attached beside that.
Just that.
And just that. And there's a reason why we're partnering up with Harley. Harley is definitely one of the most patriotic brands out there, and their community is so strong, and that's what we strive to do at 13 Folds, because community is everything. Within a community, you can be heard, and so Harley has done a great job of doing that for their customers. Since they started. Beside that, we have a great sponsor, the local Las Vegas Aviators, a baseball team that will be promoting at our event as well. They're awesome. And did I mention it with your sponsor, or donation or partnership, whatever it is? In some of our packages, you get, foursomes. So you get 4 people that can play the day of the tournament.
Oh, cool.
And you can, if it's your business, that's a great way to build camaraderie amongst your employees. You're expanding this goodwill, and it just all comes back. It's like,
And you get to spend the day in the sunshine and play golf with your
Yeah.
donation, and you're
What more
supporting
could you
these
ask for?
families.
yeah, it's a win-win-win.
Yeah. What's the problem? We're going to wait right now. We want all of you to call Jack. Jack, go ahead and answer your phone as that rings. Let's just turn
I'm
this
gonna
into
call right now.
we'll just like, hey, so you're looking for businesses, but you're also looking for individuals, right?
Yeah,
Come and play.
individuals that want to register to play. There's plenty of opportunities the day of the event to give back to the cause as well. And like you said, I mean, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a beautiful day. Might be a little hot. We're in the middle of Las Vegas, but it's nothing that a good time can make up for.
I'm going to put you on the spot right now, both of you. I just had an idea. I think maybe 2-3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks before your tournaments, May 27th, we got a little time. November, let's do this again, but let's do a live show and let's take callers and donations online.
Sign me up.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I put it out there. I just put it out there so you can hold me to it. I don't do live shows very often. We do we record these because people are different time zones or whatever, and different times of the day. But I think we would raise some money, and that would be a lot of fun.
Call Jack. Call Jack.
I know I'm getting spammed.
I'll get a bunch of people to answer the phones in here. It'll be fun.
Awesome.
No, yeah,
That
we would
sounds
love
great.
to do that. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much, Jeremiah. We appreciate it.
Take me up on it. Let's schedule it.
Cool.
We'll do it awful. So, okay, we got to say goodbye, guys. But did you have anything else that you wanted to mention about the tournament, Jack?
No, I'll just go over the details one more time. Like Jeremiah said multiple times, our tournament will be in Henderson, Nevada at Revere Golf Club, May 27th. And if you want to be an early bird and sign up for our tournament later this year in the fall, in November, which is going to be November 6th at Reflection Bay, you can email me, you can call me. My phone number is 310-904-2855, and my email is jackr.rothman@gmail.com. And if you want to go directly to the website to register to play, that'll be 13foldslv.org. Thank you so much, Jeremiah. We really appreciate you having us here.
I appreciate you guys. I really do. And I appreciate the veterans as you do, and the first responders. And let's just give them all another big thank you. And the families that are sometimes left behind or are left behind while their loved one is out and putting themselves in danger, in the way of danger. And God, if we all do anything, we should do what you're doing and help you out on this. This is really a really great cause to get behind, and the families of our veterans and our first responders. So thank you guys for what you're doing. I want to see that your chapter, anything we can do to help get your chapter going. 13 Folds of Honor. Jack Rothman, Christian Meza. Thank you so much, guys. I'm all choked up here now. Who do you want to thank? Anybody you want to thank? And then we're going to say goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, one more time, I would like to thank both of our moms. Shout out to Sheila and shout out to Pam. One more time, I would like to thank any Folds of Honor people that are listening to this. Thank you for, thanks for listening, and thanks for having me a part of your family. So yeah, just those two.
Jack?
I mean, yeah, I'll double dip. Our moms are our heroes, so
Yeah.
they get all the things necessary. And yeah, anyone to just listening right now, we appreciate the time that you took out of your day to listen to Christian's story and what we're trying to accomplish. And I want to thank God as well.
Where do you find guys like these guys? I'm talking to the listener now, not you guys. Close your ears, don't get embarrassed. But where do you find? I mean, you guys are making it happen. I love it, and you're selfless. You're salt of the earth. That's such a horrible saying, but I love you guys both. I'm glad you were on. I'm so happy to have got this hour to talk with you, and we're gonna do another couple of these, and we'll raise some money.
Awesome.
All right, let me give out the information one more time. The golf courses, the golf tournaments are at Folds of Honor in Las Vegas at Revere Golf Club on May 27th of this year, 2023. There's an upcoming golf tournament in the fall, if you can't make that one, for Folds of Honor in Las Vegas at Reflection Bay Golf Course, November 5th, 2023. If your business is interested in sponsoring their upcoming golf tournament, reach out to Jack Rothman. Jack's email is jack.r.rothman@gmail.com. His phone number, crazy for giving this out. So what does that tell you about him? He wants this to happen. 310-904-2855. And the website, once again, is 13foldslv.org. Thanks, guys. Communicate more, listen even more, and evolve. We'll see you next week.
Sweet.
Done.
That was awesome. You're awesome, Jeremiah, dude.
I appreciate
You are,
that,
man.
really.
Yeah.
So honestly, here's what I'm thinking. I don't know, with that, if you guys want to do like a telethon like NPR does, where they're raising money all day long or for a couple hours,
Yeah.
I'm sure I could get a couple hours. We'll do it live, and I'll line up some celebrities that come on and talk about this with you, like Mariel,
That would be
Henry, like
sick,
Skunk
yeah.
Baxter, like Daz Marlott, and on and on. We'll line up.
Okay.
That'd be
lineup.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then
that'd be right.
would that be cool? And maybe we just direct them to the website and here's, get donate or get your tickets.
Mhm.
But I think I've never done it before. I think we'd have a lot of fun, and we can make it pretty compelling.
I could even, if we're going to do that, I could probably even get Folds of Honor nationally to kind of get behind that and promote that for us.
We're going to do it. Unless you don't want to do it, we'll do it.
No, we will.
So we'll talk offline. I'll look at the calendar. We should probably do it 30 days out, don't you think? So people can figure out travel plans and stuff if they live in Santa Barbara.
Definitely.
You got this in LA, you got this in New York. You got it all over the place. So the message. So, people traveling through Vegas at that time, I think it's great. Even if they can't make it, donate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And then I'll just reach out to some of the closer celebrity friends that I have and see if they'll come on. And John Cleese would be a great guy to come on. We're building a club with him in Santa Barbara right now. The iconic comedian from
yeah, I know him.
Yeah, you know him. Okay, so he'd be great. We can raise some money.
Awesome.
Let's do it. All right, guys. I'll send this to you a little bit later today. Have a great day. You did great, by the way.
Thanks so much, Jeremiah. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk soon. Bye.